we're back with Sal the Barber. I'm just going to say the Barber.
The Barber.
I'm not the first person to say that.
No,
right?
the Barbarian.
Yes, Sal the Barber. That's an Italian thing, isn't it? Where your occupation becomes your last name.
Yeah, maybe. I think
like
that's
Sal
like
the Butcher.
a global thing, actually. Maybe.
I don't know. I
Oh, you mean nickname wise?
Yeah, nickname wise. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, Sal the Hitman.
Yeah, you never hear Morty the Accountant. You know, it's a nickname. Yeah. You know, it's Sal the Barber, Sal the Butcher.
Yeah.
You know, you said your grandfather inspired you. He was 50 years or so, you said?
Yeah, he came over from Italy with like $1 in his pocket, trained to be a barber in Italy, and he worked for a guy named Gus Butera in Conshohocken for 50 years. I was his apprentice. He taught me how to cut hair. We worked alongside each other for a few months to a year, and then he retired. My father passed away shortly after, and he followed my father up 2 weeks later. It was really rough. It was right before Christmas. And last thing my grandfather said to me before he died was, if I could go back 50 years ago, I would have opened up my own barbershop. And he said, you should open up your barbershop. He said, you got what it takes to do it. And I said, well, I'm not ready yet, you know? And he said, you'll know when. And the next morning he passed away, which is the lasting impression. The good thing is I got to say I love you before. That was the last thing I got to say to him. So,
yeah, it's real tough when you get those. I mean, I've had that happen myself, and it's like almost deathbed orders.
Oh, you know, he was right though. I did know when it was right time, and I did do that. And when I look at the sign that says Sal's Barbershop on it, I don't even consider it my barbershop. I consider it like my grandfather's barbershop, you know?
When did you open the first one?
Halloween's going to be 2 years this year. 2015 was the first year. It was October 31st, 2015.
When did you open the second one?
May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, of this year.
So you're only doing...
In less than 2 years, I've opened up 2 shops. I have...
So you do them like on holidays.
Yeah.
And they're always near asylums.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Like you said, the Norristown State Hospital and Pennhurst.
So you'll be opening one up on Easter in Wernersville or something?
I'm not sure yet. Wherever they got a nut house.
You seem to have some model in mind that you don't know about.
Just in case I need to check myself in.
Yeah, it's always good. Do you ever think you'll open a third?
Oh, for sure. I actually have plans to open up a barber school. I have a lot of people that come to me. I want to learn how to be a barber. It's a lot of work to become a barber. And I have plans to open up a barber school. I actually I work with the other barber schools around here, and I'm going to be going there demonstrating to students. And I hope to one day own a barber school and pass down the lessons my grandfather taught me. But I also plan to have an empire of barbershops. Yeah, one day I will be retired managing X amount of barbershops I've been able to create. Yeah.
It's one of those things that you can't automate. I mean, there's not... They tried with the flow beat, but that didn't quite cut it.
No, there's no box you can just put your head in and say, just, I want a pencil sharpener. No, it's not going to happen.
It's a personalized thing, so that
hair always grows every day, you know. So for the most part, I'm going to be in business for a while. I hope.
Have you had anybody who wanted to be a barber who you mentored, who you just had to say you can't do this? People only got 2 years, you know. You're not going to make a kid.
I've had guys drop out of the program and kind of realize it wasn't for them. But, I'm going to work with somebody as long as they work with me. If I tell you what time I'm going to be there and you're going to be there at that same time, I'll work with you. But if you start, diddy-dallying and all that or whatever, whatever you call it, if you're not taking it serious, why am I wasting my breath?
I always thought a barber was like a bartender for a guy who doesn't drink. I got a buddy who moved out of the area. He moved to right outside of New York. And for the longest time, up until very recently, he would come back to go to the same barber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had that also. Yeah, but I have guys that drive as far as New Jersey. I've cut actually a few pro football players that would come from Pittsburgh to get their hair cut. There's a comfortability there, and like an intimate relationship with your barber that that they know what you want. Because that's what kind of my task is. Every time somebody sits in my chair, you might not know how to explain it, but I better know how to give it to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm tasked with that every time I get a new client. It's like, well, I'm not really sure what I want. I'm like, don't worry, I got you. I'll cut them off right there. I was like, I'll make you look better than you ever looked.
Well, that's how my buddy found his barber. Was he went around and found a barber that had the same hair as him.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it actually, for a person, it's pretty stupid. I mean, that was a good plan for him. And it worked out, and that was a good idea. It's a weird relationship you have because you try to keep the same barber. Guys don't like to change barbers. I imagine women don't like to change hairdressers.
Well, I understood that fact, and what I did was at Sal's Barbershop, I literally make sure that each one of my guys can cut hair, awesome. This way, there's no real wait for a person. There's no real
Do you have any female barbers?
No, I don't have any female barbers. It's not that I have any issues with that. I've never really came across that yet. For the most part, I do know a few girl barbers, but they are happily employed and all that.
It's weird because barbershops are still kind of segregated that way. Like we talked about out front, that it's just this. Yeah, because if you put a woman in, lots of times it's considered to be more of a hair salon than a barber,
Well, yeah, but I've worked with girl barbers, and I've actually, I did have one girl barber at Sal's in Plymouth, and Tiffany was a really good barber. However, I got a lot of men that actually said, oh, I'm not going to come in there anymore. I don't feel comfortable around a woman. Well, this is 2017, not 1917, so I don't know what to say to these kind of people, but it just didn't end up working out with me and Tiffany and her working at my barbershop. But I wish her all the luck in the world. She was great.
Well, I think it's like my buddy's thing is there's this little bit of comfort through familiarity where you want somebody you can relate to or like you. And like he found somebody with his exact hair at that age to cut your hair because you feel comfortable, Your hair's nice. Make mine like yours. That's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I see where you would have that comfort in knowing that guy knows exactly what you're looking for, because you could easily say, look in the mirror. That's what I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
because it's tough when you go in and you're not somebody that goes in all the time. It's tough when you go in and they say, what do you want to do? And, I usually just say, make me look less homeless. It's kind of my thing. And, if you could just do that.
Yeah, I try to take I try to take people homeless to Harvard looking,
And then when you get older at the barbershop, there's this whole thing where they start asking you questions.
Oh, you want your ears?
Exactly, the ears thing.
Eyebrows.
Yeah. They say ears. I go, what? What are you talking about?
Hey, I've seen some eyebrows that look like they wanted to fight me. So I mean, I just take them off. I don't even ask anymore. If you got hair in your ears, the only thing that's protecting you from is your wife's, nagging or something like that. But to be honest, there's no need for it. I think it's just an evolutionary way to block out your wife sometimes.
You're going to get in trouble later. You're going to get in trouble.
No, I know.
You're going to have a patch on the other side of your neck.
Yeah, I'm starting to grow some hair in my ears right now myself.
Have you ever had somebody come in that did not need a haircut, like almost a bald guy? That just was still stuck in a routine.
Straight razor on their head, and we could always get it shorter. I mean, I got a guy that comes in every 4 days. I no lie, comes in every 4 days. He spends $35.
What is he, a werewolf?
No, he just likes his hair completely bald. I mean, it's less maintenance for him, and it's just something we can do together, and he enjoys the camaraderie of the barbershop too.
I think that's why he's there, though, because it's not like at day 5 he's going to be out of control or something.
Yeah, not necessarily, but some people have a certain way they want to look, and I help them achieve that, and that's my job. That's my job. I'm not going to question why, hey, you don't need a cut. You were just here 4 days ago.
There you go. You need to come up with a Saul's Barbershop subscription where you pay like a fee, like a retainer.
Like for the whole month.
Yeah.
And then you can come in as many times as you want.
Come in as many times as you want.
They got those VIP clubs down in like Florida and Texas right now.
Well, what's the most? I mean, 4 days, 4 times every 4 days. So the most he could come in is 7 times in a month.
I think that's the most I have any of my out of any customer I have, I think he comes in the most, by far. So not everybody's like that. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to get a haircut every 2 weeks. So, I mean. Yeah.
It's interesting because I've had it when looking for people, dementia patients, go talk to the barber. And while the family didn't see the change in the person, the barber could tell me exactly when they started falling off, the conversation changed.
Yeah, there's a personal relationship, no doubt about it. And I've seen people change over the years, and I've seen people, grow into becoming success stories also. Just, I've seen all different walks of life, and I've seen people fall off, and I've seen people climb to the top of the mountain too.
Well, we talked out there about Sinner to Saint. And you said that you went through hard times.
Yes.
You were homeless, and you came from the bottom to where you are now.
Yes.
And because I felt there was something driving you more than just wanting to help people. Not that that's not enough, but there's additional drive when you've been there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was about 18 years old when I went to college. I went on a full scholarship. I was always a brilliant student. And not to toot my own horn, but I was a pretty smart guy. I went to school on a full scholarship, and went to Savannah College of Art and Design, and kind of got mixed up into drugs and alcohol, and became a follower really quickly when I didn't have anybody of a support system when I went away to college. And I came home, got introduced to more heavier drugs, and I decided that I was done listening to everybody tell me how I was a waste of potential and that I shouldn't have did that in college. And so I decided to pretty much fend for myself, and I was sleeping in the transportation center. I was eating out of trash cans. Life was really bad. I was begging for change, pumping gas. I was 19 years old. I had guns drawn on me, all types of bad stuff on the streets of Norristown. I mean, these are streets of Norristown. This is not Philadelphia or Camden. These are streets of Norristown. I went through some really rough times, but with every, you hope that with every story like mine, there's somebody that comes from that, and it comes out of that, and I'm that one story, which I know a lot of people that did not come back from that. I know a lot of people that have died from addiction, rest their souls. I got it, and I'm still working on it. You're never gonna.
You're never done.
No, you're never done. What I want to say is that, I've walked through fire, and it made me, it's made me a more, sharp. It made me more sharper. Pain is weakness leaving the body, if you will.
Yeah.
Kind of motto, like where, give me your best shot, because the ground's no place for a champion. I'm gonna get back up every time, and I put it in my mindset that I can do anything I put my mind to. So addiction is a really tough thing to wrap your head around, but I started by just looking in the mirror and loving myself again. That was my first step in addiction. In getting better.
Do you think that you'd be the person you are without the problems you had?
No, I don't think I would be. I will tell you what, The same way I used to hustle for $1 when I wanted to get drugs, the same way I hustle for my barbershop. I'll hand